They go, yeah.
They'll switch to Netflix. There's too many entertainment options. So I was sitting there like the first time it happened, what can I do? And I looked over at my backpacks of the gear that runs on Speedify. You paid for a year of it. You can use it on any computer or device. So I just pulled out my one of several hotspots I have, hooked it up, cranked up Speedify, and it has never been a problem since.
We used the Speedify software at a command line level, so it's not running a whole UI which is starting to drain resources. It's really very, very base level. And the really clever people at the BBC got it all working, and we're now presenting whole programs every single day of the year have been presented using this technology. All our weather reports from our weather presenter are done on them.
If I look back at my original lives, they are awful. They're terrible. But we all start somewhere and we all get better. And every time you go live and every time you get on camera, you're gonna get a little bit more comfortable.
You saw part
Really?
of it? Cool.
Nice. All right, we are famous. You want to say hi to everybody? Now you're on the video. So wave. That's the camera right there. Nice. All right. We are going back to look at this guy's house. And it has a lot of white lights.
There he is. Hey, Christian.
Fine.
And tell you light on the deck so you can see when they tell it's live.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so these lights
do have RGB mixing, so if you want to do each color, you can mix them independently. Within the app, there are a couple features, and I'll just go show you this.
See power. There we go.
Woo! Oh my God, it's beautiful.
Is just building budget aesthetic gaming PCs, and I have my studio here now, so we've graduated away from the basement of my house and whatnot.
Also, I would say streaming kept me from going completely insane when I was in that hotel room for 2 weeks when I first got to Australia.
So raising awareness is really going to help break that stigma. We definitely have a stigma in our society where it's, not okay for folks to be open about their medical conditions. It's kind of seen as shameful.
We have, all of us have these amazing cameras, Apple, Samsung, Google.
We have customers come in all the time who say, oh, I watched this stream and I came in from out of town and I knew we had to stop here.
We build custom PCs for a lot of content creators, gamers, you name it, businesses, colleges, esports.
And then I do a lot of thought leadership talking and trying to educate the industry on the value of techifying, as I call it, their events, and been doing that for a long time.
The first 2 years of live streaming was actually just myself. I was kind of acting as a community manager.
You know what? I never used to think that people wanted to cared about what I wanted to say, but now I'm like, you know what?
I care, Gina.
You've got to put it out there. You've just got to put it out there, and someone will listen.
I used to actually be solely mobile, so I used to teach people how to edit using KineMaster, which is just a mobile app. Really, really cool app.
I love the process of both. I love the editing process, the scripting process, and things like that of recorded videos. But nothing for me also beats the buzz that you get from pressing the go live button.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's the Speedify Live Year in Review. I'm your host, Alex Gizis. And so this is the live stream about live streaming, and we're going to talk about what happened this year. We started the show to, understand the power of live streaming and share what we were learning as we went along. And I think we learned an awful lot this year, for better or worse. And so let's talk about it. So I have a whole bunch of team members waiting in the wings to talk to us about how 2022 was here at Speedify. Real behind the scenes looks. But before we begin, I want to thank every guest we had on. We talked to some amazing people and learned a lot. I also want to thank our viewers. You guys are amazing. All the feedback and comments, and it's been great. I love you guys. Thanks for being there. So if you remember, last year was a countdown. We counted down our best videos or whatever. We're not going to do that this year, but we have made a video to highlight some of the streams we did. So here's the debut of the 2022 Speedify Live video.
So you squat right here, stick your butt out as much as you can.
It makes me happy every time to see people thankful for the work that we do to provide the software for free.
I got a Speedify on there if we need it. I've been live streaming for about 7 years now.
I don't remember which stream it was, but you said you were like, and if you're watching on LinkedIn, you're definitely the only one or something. I was like, that's funny.
It's an amazing community here on Twitch, man, that they created a Pokemon community game, right?
Guys, it would be a very boring process for the most part, if not for having someone kind of being able to talk into their ear and say, this is what's going on. This is why this is important. Oh, something significant just happened.
Recent one I did just probably about 2 months ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so this is a Star Trek Discovery phaser. None of this is painted. It's all 3D printed.
Yeah, Golden Globe would be nice. I see somebody said, I want a shelf like that, and then somebody said, or Golden Globes. Yeah, sure.
Oh, nice. Threading the needle.
I'm focusing on my shot. I'm trying to make a beautiful shot of camera, with the camera.
Oh! We just got dumped on. That was crazy.
And I'm gonna spin it around this tube like it's a piece of string. It's kind of interesting to watch.
I was using one of these, which is an 810 Mini Pro ISO when that came out.
This is one that I sculpted. It's pretty close to the real thing.
Once we pick up a heat detection coming out of the North Pole area, that is Rudolph's red nose.
Oh, holy cow. I had forgotten about some of those. Good times. Good times. So our first stream of 2022 was on January 6th, and our last one will be December 28th. I'll just be Brian by himself because I'm leaving on vacation for the rest of the year tomorrow. So episode numbers. The first episode of the year was episode 47. This is episode 162, which means next week's will be 163, which means we did 116 live streams this year. So, did we learn anything? Yeah, nice. Oh, worth pointing out, as I normally do, we're live here. Just ask questions. Comments. Pop on here. Hey, Zeter Gamer. I see you. So yeah, just pop on. I'm gonna talk a little bit, bring some people on here. Yes, so maybe we should just jump to bringing people on here. But yeah, so what have we learned this year? One, live streaming. Number one rule: put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Whether you're IRL streaming and walking around trying to film off an iPhone that'll stop the instant you receive a call, or even if you're in the studio and someone just keeps calling you, gotta put the phone on Do Not Disturb. Number two, IRL temperature. If it is above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, you are going to have problems. And you're probably not going to have problems if you're below that. But once it's above 90, we were getting into active cooling and connecting fans to things, and the fans make noise and they need power. So we end out with these battery packs. Phones today seem fine up into the 80s. You European users will have to use a conversion to find the Celsius numbers. I'm not going to try it. All right. So that's probably the big lessons. A goal this year, the office hours, we started off very, very casual. We've tried to get more structured as the year goes on with transitions and graphics. And I'd be interested to hear from you guys whether you got value. Does it make a difference? Do you like the more professional approach, or are you just trying to get Kevin on the line? Doesn't matter. I'd like to hear from you guys. All right. Rating our own Starlink stream. So a fun thing we've been doing here before we get on is the Starlink stream. As far as a year in review, this has kind of dominated our December. We finally got a Starlink. We put it on the roof, and we have been live streaming it, and it's been kind of awesome. We've been learning so much. Yes, Dishy is soaked. It is an ugly day out there, and we're in Philadelphia, so we're apparently missing the worst of it. But yeah, it's not good. And here's my Speedify for those looking. Right, I got my 3 internet connections going. Another lesson. Comcast, look at that. Even though I'm plugged into Comcast on Ethernet, Speedify is seeing enough, I assume, loss? Yep, it's seeing enough loss on the Comcast, even over Ethernet, that it's deciding to use the 2 cell phones I have tethered in order to make sure that the stream goes smoothly. So, yes, a bomb cyclone. Kind of crazy that one of the side effects of global warming is these crazy bursts of coldness, but sort of makes sense. All right. So I think it is time to start. Let's pull on some of the team members. Let's start with Voislav from support. Voislav, you want to join me? Hey!
Hey, what's
so
up?
Voislav, we haven't actually had you on a live stream this year, have we?
No, this is my first time live.
It's crazy for the rest of you because, constantly, like, before I go live, I'm like, Voislav, what do I say about this? Voislav, what do I do? But then he avoids the camera, and so we finally have you on. And so Voislav is one of the secret behind the scene people.
Yeah, if you sent an email to support, chances are I replied. So
that's right. So how many total tickets were there to support this year?
Oh, well, I don't have the exact number for the tickets, but I can tell you there were over 40,000 conversations. So these conversations might have had, 1, 2, 3, 10 emails between them. So yeah, the numbers can get a little crazy there.
Wow. So how's your approach to managing support changed over the course of this year?
So
have you learned anything?
Yeah, so over this year, we've learned how to organize better and sort emails better, use some automated workflows to, optimize the time we spent on each ticket and to get to those very complicated issues sooner, and, just delegate all the duties to play to everyone's strengths. And we also, I think what was most important this year is that we kind of bridge the gap between the developers, engineers, and QA testers with the support team. So now when someone writes in saying they see a bug or an issue, we're pretty fast in like getting the QA team to test it out, see if they can reproduce the issue, and then get it in front of our engineers and developers and work on the fix.
Yeah. I think it's been going pretty well. Is there some most asked question? Do you know what question is asked the most?
Oh, well, that would, I guess we can make two categories, like people that are customers and people that aren't yet customers. So people that aren't already customers of Speedify, they were usually interested in prices, if we have any bandwidth limitations, any data limits, which our public servers can handle up to 300 megabits. If you need anything more, we do also offer dedicated servers. All of our prices for all of our plans are listed in the store. There were a lot of questions like, will Speedify work with my setup? And they would just tell us, hey, this is what I have, the connections I have, the devices, this is what I want to do, and can Speedify help me here? And just the general question of how Speedify actually works.
Right.
And from the people that, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, one thing you set up there is all the people asking about the price. We're about to end the sale, so anyone watching, last chance, right? Speedify.com got this 70% off a 3-year pass. So for $150. You're a paid Speedify Unlimited user for 3 straight years. And it's a pass. It's not a renewing subscription. So this is your probably your best chance. It is your best chance. So if you're thinking about buying and wondering what it costs, this is the best deal you're going to see. Yeah, it's going to go up soon. So sorry to jump into the sales pitch right there, but you did say people were asking what the price was.
It was a good spot for that, definitely. Right. So from the customers, they already have Speedify that purchased the subscription. They were wondering mostly how they can bond to Wi-Fi connections. So if you have a desktop or a laptop device, it usually comes with one Wi-Fi card built in, and you can connect to one Wi-Fi network. So what you want to do if you want to connect to another Wi-Fi network is get one of these. This is a USB Wi-Fi adapter. Voila, you can Wi-Fi connection to your setup.
On a PC or Linux, right? But obviously not on an iPhone, not on Android, not on a Mac. And,
desktop or laptop. Sadly, Macs used to be able to take advantage of this, but newer versions, sadly, just it's not a possibility anymore. So do make sure when you're buying one of the USB Wi-Fi adapters to check the supported OS versions for it. Customers were also interested in how they can set up Speedify sharing, which is, we have a bunch of articles on that, depending on what device and operating system you're using. So there are options where you can have one device act as a Speedify router.
Right.
Maybe best for this is a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah. People love their little Raspberry Pi Speedify routers. So Quiet Galaxy is asking, is it hard to reproduce some of the issues users have?
Oh yeah, that's the worst. when you just can't reproduce the issue that a customer is seeing. It happens, but
yeah,
you know, everyone's
Raspberry
setup
Pi.
is a
How
little different.
often it turns out to be that like the device is like overheating, right? Turns out to not be us, right? Like kind of overheating and too much power draw. Turns out to be a lot of the weird stuff in the Raspberry Pi, right? But all right, Cedar Gamer. Wow, that's a good deal. Marb, Speedify works with Magic. Nice segue. All right. Yeah. So we're not giving out free accounts, but that sale, that's as good as it gets far. You know, for less than you would pay for 12 months of monthly, you can pick up 3 years. That's awesome. All right. So do you keep track of what support articles people actually read? And if so, what's the most popular one? I mean, I think we have hundreds of them now, right?
Oh yeah, we definitely have a lot of articles. And you know, as a new feature comes in a Speedify, we usually try to stay on top of it and have a support article about it. So that list is growing. But out of the most popular articles this year, for like general articles that we have that aren't necessarily Speedify related, most popular were how to tether an iPhone to a PC, how to tether an Android to a Mac, how to add a wired Ethernet connection to a PC, and so on. You know, things people want to know is how to connect your device to the internet.
Yeah.
And for Speedify questions, you know, it was how to install Speedify on Linux. We have a great article on that, and basically it's just one command, pretty easy to set up. Other questions were what operating system Speedify runs on, and you know, to answer that question, it's Linux, Mac, Windows, Android, and iOS. And then people were also looking up our about article about graphs and statistics.
Right.
So they were interested in what those graphs are actually showing. I don't know if you want to show it, Alex.
Oh, do we have it here? I don't know if anyone has
No. I mean, on Speedify, if you can share your screen, show us which graph does. Which graph shows.
There we go.
Yeah.
Does this make it bigger? There we go.
Yeah, great.
So we got the graphs. We got the usage graph, the latency graph, and the loss graph. See, I'm still getting these spikes of loss on the Comcast, and the bypass graph. So yeah, so you see, it's actually using the cellulars for me, even though I have the Comcast, because the Comcast keeps dropping stuff. It's awful. It's awful. The other awful thing is that how to tether an iPhone to your Windows computer that you mentioned, and the answer is you have to install iTunes. The only thing, I have iTunes installed on my PC, and the only thing it's for is that tethering my phone will work. I don't have one song in it. I don't back up my iPhone to it anymore. There's no value except if you have iTunes installed. The tethered iPhone shows up as an internet connection.
So, yeah,
there's probably some way to get the driver out or something, but I don't know what it is. See, I installed the whole thing just so my iPhone works when tethered. Life is hard. That's right, Marby. iTunes still has exactly one use. And I wonder, when they go to USB-C next year, will you still need that? Or will it show up as some sort of normal standard internet connection? All right, this is a big question. All right. That's a cool voice off. Thank you so much. I'm going to pull Brian on next and talk to him about the servers. So thank you, VoiceOff.
Right, thanks.
Hey, Alex.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I see you've redecorated. I like the new look in your office. Very creative of you. So we've had you on a couple times. You want to explain for a second what exactly you do here?
Sure. So I am the Chief Technology Officer. So I help run the engineering department, and my primary focus is on the server-side applications and the operation side of things, and basically keeping the service up, keeping everything running smoothly, scaling it out, and making sure that our teams, in charge of that stuff, are working at as well as they can.
Nice. So, how many data centers does Speedify actually have points of presence in?
So we have public speed servers right now in 108 data centers. And so that's spread across 57 different cities across 36 countries. So, I mean, you can see from that we have, there are a bunch of cities where we're in multiple data centers. There's good reasons for that. I mean, where latency and speed matters a lot in a product like Speedify, having servers as close to people and as close to the things that they want to talk to is really important. So that's our footprint.
So places like New York and London, is that right? Do I remember right? Those are the places where in multiple data centers. Yeah.
Absolutely, and many big cities we're in more than one.
So
I think it tends to be this.
Why does Speedify need to be in so many data centers? Why can't we just get a whole bunch of servers in Amazon East like everyone else does?
So, there's a couple reasons, but a big one is people just want to browse the web whenever they want low latency. They want to see things and for their country, and so I think being as close to people as possible matters, and being in their country matters a lot, and having really low latency matters, because people don't want to all of a sudden have web pages take twice as long. Like that's not what we're trying to do. So people should be able to use Speedify without really disturbing their flow too much. So that's why we have such a big global footprint, why we're all over the place.
Nice. So how many gigabits per second actually are flowing through Speedify? And
so
how do you
right
know?
now, so right now at this second, there's about 13 gigabits per second flowing in and out of Speedify. And so that's looking at all of the servers and combining what ends up being a really noisy, really jumpy set of data. Right now it's averaging out at about 13 gigabits. And so that kind of goes up and down as the day goes a little bit. But it's interesting because looking in at the statistics from any given server, it's all over the place, where it's not really doing anything, and then all of a sudden it's doing 800 megabits, and it's sort of this weird mix of people sitting connected, not doing anything, or browsing the web or doing something that's not much traffic, and then all of a sudden, downloading Xcode or something. It's like, oh, okay. So that's where we're at. So it's sort of interesting. I mean, looking at kind of the micro level, things are super jumpy, and then as you zoom out, that kind of smooths out a bit.
Yeah. So I guess that's an argument for big servers. Is that right?
Yes, and so that's another interesting thing too. Like our that's how much data is actually flowing through, but we need a lot of overhead on really each individual server, so that if you get a couple people connecting and really pushing it at the same time, they shouldn't step on each other. You should have be able to have hundreds of people on the server and not have them really impact each other. So our global speed is over 1,000 gigabits per second. Is what our servers are capable of, and so we have that built-in overhead because as time of day moves across the world or whatever, like that load really shifts around, and so that's what we're capable of.
So how do you you have servers in hundreds of locations. How do you do software updates to all of them?
Right. So we use Ansible.
It's a lot of floppies.
It's a lot of floppies. It's a lot of driving around.
Interns. The answer is interns.
Yeah, I mean that, and exactly that 108 data centers. That means that we're using a bunch of different providers, and we don't have something like the AWS APIs to lean on, and so yeah, it means we've really needed to kind of craft a way of configuring all these servers in a consistent way, even though they're on all different sorts of providers and they're all different types of servers under the hood, kind of. So we use Ansible for configuration management. So all that stuff runs out over with Ansible. So we have playbooks that we've written to really install apps and deploy security updates and deploy firewall updates and basically keep everything running.
Nice. All right. So how often do you actually deploy these changes? How often do you do the software updates or whatever?
So from the beginning of this year, we've done just over 1,000 deploys to our production servers. So we did I think 1,030 production deploys this year. So that's where we're at. So
that's 3 a day.
Tweaking the firewall rule, or it is 3 a day. Yes. And so, yeah, our operations team is awesome. We're on call 24/7. And so, yeah, we're working behind the scenes to make sure that everything's working all the time.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. Go ops team. Nice. All right. So do you have any big goals for next year, Brian?
Let's see. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the biggest complaint that I hear and that we get is around our IP reputation and things not working. People not being able to buy movie tickets when Speedify is connected or whatever. It's super annoying, and it annoys me, and I hear it all the time. So we've been working hard to make that much smarter. And so I think there's a little bit of that in the current update for Speedify, and there's going to be much cooler stuff coming early in the year.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, improving that IP reputation and making Speedify work, no matter what you're trying to do. That's one of my big goals for next year.
That's a noble goal. All right. Thank you so much, Brian. Let's go on to Mike next. Hey, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
How's it going, Mike?
It's going well. Looking forward to the holiday season coming up.
Yeah, that's right. So, how many releases of Speedify did we put out this year?
We put out 19 Speedify releases this year. The big Speedify 12.0 got released early this year, and we just been hacking away at it ever since.
Wow. So, what things did we add this year? What's different?
Right. So,
it's a funny thing, actually. We do so many releases that each one seems small. And so it seems to me sometimes like we're not making progress. And then every once in a while, I'll install a version from a year ago and be like, what the hell is this primitive thing? So go on. What did we do this year?
Well, like our show, we've been really dedicated to, live streaming. So one of the major improvements that we brought to Speedify this year was the improved stream detection. We have live performance testing and monitoring, so you can see what, quality you could stream in. We have stream health indicators, which was really, really awesome. We introduced our news and events section this year, where you can keep up to date with Speedify Live and all the new updates with Speedify, so you can keep track of, sales going on, things like that. Another great feature was our auto priority detection. So we took the guesswork out of all the users, and now we're going to do, auto priorities based on what kind of adapters, what kind of devices, things like that. We brought ISP naming, so you can see Comcast cable, Verizon wireless. So that helps with our, auto priority detection. We can see, if a device is a cell phone, things like that. Another big thing was our disconnect prompt. So as Brian mentioned, some users had, complaints about Ticketmaster, things like that. And instead of, being unsecure, forgetting to turn us back on, now we give you the option, turn Speedify off for 5 minutes or 2 hours or tomorrow, and we'll make sure you're connected in that amount of time. Finally, one of the last things we added in the last release, last couple of releases, was Starlink bypassing. So now, all the cool stats and everything that goes along with Starlink now, work correctly with Speedify. So a big year packed of amazing features.
Nice. So you got any goals for next year, Mike?
In terms of Speedify, sure. I mean, one of the big goals that I'm pushing towards is, we're using some dated UI frameworks. So I'm looking to upgrade that and see what kind of new frameworks that, the technology area has, or, native things like that. So, that's my big want, my big wish, my big push.
So what are you considering, and why are you going to pick Flutter?
So, I've been experimenting with Flutter for a while. So, a couple things, Flutter is great. You can use it for desktop, you can use it for mobile. It's going to make it even better for our native SDKs to become one Flutter SDK. And, we could just use it just like any other normal user would of our SDK. I think it's great. I think it's been used by, major companies, and, it's mature enough where the packages are everything you could need. It's there. The second runner-up would, definitely be some native stuff, but I think Flutter is definitely the way of the future, at least for now.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So let's go to. Thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah, of course.
Let's pop over to Scott. There he is,
Alex.
our creative director. Scott.
How's it going?
Looking
Glad
a
to be
little
here.
blurry. Are you using Speedify?
I'm not.
And this, ladies and gentlemen,
Huh?
is the demonstration people were looking for yesterday. All right. See, I have Speedify right here. See, and let's be honest. It's my Comcast internet connection is doing terrible. It is dropping packets, and you're looking a little better now. I would be a blurry mess too, except I'm using the two cell phones to fill in the gap for all those packets getting dropped. So Scott, you want to talk about what have you guys done this year? What's going on over in marketing?
Oh man. So I kind of head up the marketing and design department here, but it's not just me. I've got a great team behind me. We've got Ryan and Marlene and Christian. For the most part, we focus on content marketing stuff. So one of our big projects this year, in addition to working in the behind the scenes on Speedify Live, is we've been overhauling a lot of our video content. So a lot of the tutorials and stuff we do, and something's cool is that we actually took a lot of what we learned from producing this live show, using these same tools to basically make this video production process just quick, seamless. We do most of them in one take, and that's a big testament to Alex. His abilities and how far he's grown in presenting. It's been
told me to rant about the sale, and you put up the camera, and I rant about the sale. And it seems perfect. Right on to TikTok.
So a lot of video stuff this year. We also Ryan and I work a lot on the UI side of things, and Mike kind of touched on a lot of what we put into the app this year. But more recently, we've sort of been all in on this new Starlink that that we got up on the roof, I guess a week or two ago, and so we've.
That was very funny yesterday when I was live streaming yesterday, and saw you up on the roof, so we just switched to that view. And I don't know if you knew that we all sort of paused the stream and watched you work on the roof, feeding birds or whatever you were doing.
We're stringing Christmas lights on our friend Dishy up there.
They're not on. What do you have to do to turn them on?
They're solar.
So they ran out because
It
it's so
just has to
cloudy.
get dark enough. Yeah.
Okay.
They actually have a little
I
solar
see.
panel on there.
Nice.
Yeah, I've only made the trip up to the roof probably about 50 times so far. So harrowing trip up to the roof.
Yeah,
only
there's
one
this
sketchy ladder you have to get up while carrying things.
Yeah, and it goes over the stairwell, so it's if you designed a ladder to be terrifying, leaning it over the stairwell is a good way, right? It's far worse than just straight up. It's at an angle, so horrifying. UFD Tech, are you involved in that at all? And what those guys did?
So I was only tangentially involved, but yeah, I can speak to it a little bit. So UFD Tech, a successful YouTube channel. Brett and his team did a what's known as a cannonball run after the movie, which is a cross-country drive, benefiting his son who has a unfortunate condition. But they live streamed this drive across the country and used Speedify the entire time with a Starlink mounted on their roof and a couple cell phones in the car, and they stayed connected the entire time. All the way, through the most remote parts of the country. There they were connected. All thanks to Speedify, honestly.
They had AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon plus the Starlink.
They were prepared. They did their homework.
Yeah,
But,
that was really great.
Eye-opening for us. I think watched them do that and said, "Oh my God, like we need to get one of these."
Yeah, and of course, Philadelphia is not a covered territory, right? So I went to order and couldn't. So then I figured out the order for my RV. My very large, very slow-moving recreational vehicle. And and so that is, in fact, how the Starlink stream came to be. Now that we have it, we're just beating on it, right? Trying to see what we need to do to be 24/7, right? And every element, right? I mean, Speedify should be able to deliver streaming 24/7, even across it's a miracle it works, but sometimes it's a pretty crappy internet connection. And it can be both amazing and kind of crappy at the same time. And so Speedify should make that work. Yeah. Well, it's they're all variable. Like sometimes it's amazing and sometimes it's slow and oof. So the podcast ads, that was another thing people are telling me I should ask you about.
Yeah. So something I touched on before is we primarily do a lot of content marketing for the most part. We do videos, we do blog posts, we put out content. But that was the summer we had one of our first forays into a big advertising push, and so we worked with another company to identify a whole bunch of different podcasts across different industries, but all sort of tangentially technology focused and customer bases that we thought there might be some overlap. And we ran 20 different podcast campaigns across the full gamut of things, from legal podcasts to wrestling podcasts to just some.
So what worked best?
For news affairs. Yeah, it was it was fun. But
I was so excited about getting Penn Jillette to talk about us. Yep. And he sounded amazing, but I don't think that it actually led to anyone.
Yeah, some had a little more traction than others. One of the episodes that we were on with Penn was with
Rob Lowe.
Not Paul Rudd.
Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe, yes. It was incredible.
Yeah. So Rob Lowe has heard of us. Not sure he cared enough to install.
I think he might be in the comments section here.
Let's see. All right. Why don't we bring everybody on? Can we do that? What happens here? Does this thing manage like 10 people at the same time? Can we click everybody on? Oh. Oh.
Hey,
Oh.
hey. Hey, everybody.
Is that everybody? Can't we get Ryan on? You guys can't see, but Ryan's on, but he's completely hidden. But sad. Well, thank you guys. This was a great year. All right, Marlene's saying that Ryan actually walked away. So I can't just turn on his camera. All right. I'm going to go around and ask everyone for one thing they're grateful for this year. How's that? I'm obviously grateful for all the guests in the audience here that has put up with us for, did I say 116 episodes this year? And that's kind of incredible. We'll go around clockwise. Brian, what are you grateful for in 2022?
All right, I'll grab a few. So I'm grateful for my health and my family, and that I get to work with such a great group of people.
Yeah, that's a good list. Scotty, what's up? What are you grateful for?
Well, I'm also, super thrilled with the team that we've managed to cultivate here. I feel like we're firing on all cylinders these days. And yeah, I'm really excited to continue on with this show, grow the show and put out more video content. And there's some new stuff in the pipeline that I'm really excited about for next year. So yeah, looking forward to that.
All right. Mike, what's up? What are you grateful for?
On top of Brian, of course, my health, my family, my children. But for real, the testing department, they put up me for a whole year. So I have to be thankful for them for not burning the castle down and hating me and booting me off the island. So I thank them truly most right now. And of course, the best management anybody could ask for.
All right. Voislav, what are you grateful for?
Yeah, I'm grateful for the team we have here, and I want to shout out especially
something new.
Support team. The support team especially. Those guys don't hear great things. It's usually only problems, so keep up the good job, guys.
Yeah, good job, guys. I really do appreciate all you do. Sorry I skip the meetings most weeks. What are you going to do? All right. Thank you, everybody. Say goodnight. So we have one more episode left this week. Brian is hosting it. Is that right? Next Wednesday?
Yep.
All right. Good luck. I'll be in Nashville. I'm going to go listen to some music for a couple days.
That'll be cool. All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Voislav, Mike, Scott, Brian, the support team, the QA team, and everybody in the audience. We love you guys. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, whatever other holidays I missed, happy those too. So thanks, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
So you squat right here, stick your butt out as much as you can.
It makes me happy every time to see people thankful for the work that we do to provide the software for free.
I got a Speedify on there if we need it. I've been live streaming for about 7 years now.
I don't remember which stream it was, but you said you were like, and if you're watching on LinkedIn, you're definitely the only one or something. I was like, that's funny.
It's an amazing community here on Twitch, man, that they created a Pokemon community game, right?
Guys, it would be a very boring process for the most part, if not for having someone kind of being able to talk into their ear and say, this is what's going on. This is why this is important. Oh, something significant just happened.
Recent one I did just like probably about 2 months ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so this is a Star Trek Discovery phaser. None of this is painted. It's all 3D printed.
Yeah, Golden Globe would be nice. I see somebody said, I want a shelf like that, and then somebody said, or Golden Globes. Yeah, sure.
Oh, nice. Threading the needle.
I'm focusing on my shot. I'm trying to make a beautiful shot of camera with the camera.
Oh. We just got jumped on. That was crazy.
And I'm gonna spin it around this tube like it's a piece of string. It's kind of interesting to watch.
I was using one of these, which is an 810 Mini Pro ISO when that came out.
This is one that I sculpted. It's pretty close to the real thing.
Once we pick up a heat detection coming out of the North Pole area, that is Rudolph's red nose.